Hello everyone, myself Dr. Harpreet Kaur. I'm currently working as a postdoctoral computational scientist at National Cancer Institute NIH Bethesda. Today I'm presenting my poster entitled Identification and Validation of Radiosensitive Prognostic Signature for GBM. Literature indicated GBM is one of the most malignant and challenging primary tumor of the CNS to treat. Currently, radiotherapy is available important treatment for the GBM patients. Thus, it is important to understand which patient could benefit from the therapy and which could not. Therefore, the identification of prognostic gene signature that can predict the response of the patient to the radiotherapy can significantly enhance the clinical decision making. Toward this, we have focused on two major objectives. First is the identification of radiosensitive genes for the GBM. Second, the development and validation of prognostic signature with small subset of the radiosensitive signature that can predict high risk, low risk, and medium risk group of the patients which receive radiotherapy. First, for the identification of GBM specific radiosensitive signatures, we have extracted gene expression data for 6 GBM cell lines from NCI 60 cell line panel, along with survival fraction data after 2 gyration of the radiation treatment, which is calculated as SF2. Thereafter, we have computed the correlation between the expression of the genes and SF2 values. And here we have identified 2,487 genes, which show significant correlation between SF2 value and expression of the genes, with correlation coefficient positive and negative 0.6. Thereafter, we have also assessed the correlation of these identified genes in the patient cohort with respect to their overall survival time. On the patient cohort of 82 patients, and we have observed that 1,275 genes shows overlapping correlation pattern, which is similar in the cell line. Thereafter, these 1,275 genes further subjected to univariate survival analysis to assess their prognostic potential, and we have identified 184 genes showed significant prognostic potential with p-value less than 0.05. Thereafter, pathway analysis and literature survey showed that these 184 genes are involved in radiosensitivity pathways. Next, to develop a prognostic model based on these identified radiosensitive genes in the GBM, we have performed Lasso-Cox regression analysis with internal cross-validation 5-fold using 1,000 iteration and identified 8 genes. And we have developed prognostic index model based on these 8 identified genes based on their expression and correlation, beta coefficient values. Next, to rule out that the performance of this PI model based on selected genes is not random. So we have compared the performance of our model with 100 sets of random 8 genes that were selected from rest of the data. Eventually, performance of the PI model is also validated in 20% test data, as well as external validation cohort of 54 patients. As in the figure 2, we can see in the KM plots that this PI model able to significantly stratify low risk, medium risk, high risk group of the 20% test data, as well as external validation cohort with concordant index 0.72 and 0.62 respectively. Thereafter, these KM, we can see that box plot in the figures 3 showed that PI value in the low risk group is significantly lower in comparison to the medium risk and high risk survival groups of the 20% test data, as well as external validation cohort. Eventually, for the clinical utility, we further developed nomogram based on the prognostic index that we have developed based on radiosensitive genes, as well as considering the clinical features that are available in the data, which like age, gender, IDH mutation, MGMT promoter methylation status, 1Q, 1PQ, 19Q co-deletion status to predict the risk of the death risk of the patients, as well as 1 year, 3 year, and 5 year survival probability of the patients. In conclusion, we believe these results can potentially be used to predict the response of the patient to the radiotherapy, as well as to predict the survival time of the GBM patients which received radiotherapy. Thank you. If you have any question, please feel free to post here. Thank you.